Welcome to Stoic Golden Tribe, where enduring wisdom meets the strength of presence, and where we uncover the truths modern society refuses to teach men. Today, we're diving into a powerful reality: why women lose respect for men and how you can prevent it. Respect is the backbone of any relationship. Without it, love becomes fragile, attraction fades, and the bond you once thought was unshakable can collapse in silence. The most dangerous part? Most men don't even recognize when respect is slipping away until it's already gone. This is why you must understand the psychology of respect, the subtle shifts that happen in her mind, and the actions you take, or fail to take, that determine whether she sees you as a man she admires or a man she tolerates. Take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support allows me to continue creating content that challenges common misconceptions and brings you insights that others often overlook. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only understand why women lose respect, but you'll also gain the timeless principles every man must master to earn it, keep it, and never lose it again. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Psychology of Respect. Why women lose it. Respect is the invisible foundation of every healthy relationship. Without it, even the strongest passion fades, the deepest love weakens, and the bond between two people begins to crumble. For a man, losing a woman's respect is not just about her attitude changing, it's about losing her admiration, her trust, and eventually her desire to stand by you. But why does this happen? Why do women lose respect for men who, at one point, they love deeply? To understand this, you must first realize that women are naturally drawn to strength, not the loud, boastful kind of strength, but the quiet, steady strength of a man who knows who he is and refuses to betray himself. A woman may be impressed by your looks, your charm, or your ambition when she first meets you, but over time, what matters most is your ability to remain consistent, your ability to hold firm to your principles even when life tests you. Because make no mistake, life will test you, and so will she. Now here's the part many men don't understand. A woman doesn't always test you because she wants you to fail. She tests you because she wants to trust you. She wants to know if the man she has chosen is solid enough to carry himself and, by extension, carry the relationship. Sometimes these tests are obvious. She challenges your opinion. She disagrees with your decision. She pushes back when you expect compliance. Other times, they're subtle, a small joke that undermines you in public, a moment when she withdraws affection to see how you react. Each of these moments is not random. They are subconscious ways of answering one question in her mind. Is this man strong enough to lead, or is he a man who will bend and break under pressure? This is where many men fail. Instead of holding steady, they chase approval, they argue, they beg, they compromise their own principles just to keep the peace. And in doing so, they send a clear signal: I fear losing you more than I respect myself. And once that happens, her respect begins to fade. But here's the critical truth: women do not lose respect because you make mistakes. Every man will stumble. Every man will fail at some point. What truly determines whether she respects you is how you respond to failure. Do you rise and correct yourself, or do you collapse and wallow in weakness? Women are instinctively drawn to resilience. They admire the man who gets knocked down but refuses to stay down. They admire the man who doesn't blame the world or her or anyone else but takes responsibility and moves forward with strength. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology confirmed it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." For a woman, your strength of mind is what secures her respect, because when life challenges her, she needs to look at you and see stability. When you lose discipline, when you abandon your goals, when you let emotions control you, she feels that weakness, and slowly she withdraws her admiration. Think about it. A woman might forgive you for being broke. She might forgive you for struggling through a difficult season, but she will not forgive you for being weak, undisciplined, or without direction. Because deep down, she cannot admire a man who betrays himself. Understand this: respect is not about controlling her. It's not about dominating her. It's about leading yourself first. so that she can trust you enough to follow. Respect dies when you trade strength for comfort, when you trade leadership for compliance, when you betray your principles to keep temporary peace. If you want her respect, you must stand firm in your values, even when it costs you something, especially when it costs you something, because once you lose her respect, everything else, her love, her affection, her loyalty, begins to vanish like smoke. Drop a comment below. Do you believe respect is more important than love in a relationship? Chapter 2. The silent mistakes men make that kill respect. Respect rarely disappears overnight. It dies slowly, quietly, through small, unnoticed cracks that grow wider with time. And here's the danger. Most men don't even realize they're making these mistakes until the damage is already done. So let's break down the silent mistakes that kill a woman's respect for a man. 1. Seeking her approval instead of living by principles. One of the quickest ways to lose her respect is to live for her validation instead of your own standards. A man who constantly asks, are you happy with me? Did I do enough? Do you still love me? May think he's showing care, but what he's really showing is insecurity. A woman cannot respect a man who treats her approval as oxygen. She needs to know you are grounded in something deeper, that even if she disapproves, even if she disagrees, you are guided by principle, not fear of rejection. As Epictetus once said, seek not for events to happen as you wish, but wish for events to happen as they do, and your life will go smoothly. If you live constantly chasing her approval, you betray yourself. And once you betray yourself, she will slowly betray her respect for you. 2. Failing to set boundaries. Many men believe being a good man means being endlessly patient, endlessly forgiving, endlessly tolerant. But the truth is, a man without boundaries is not noble, he is weak. When you allow disrespect, when you ignore red flags, when you accept behavior that violates your values just to avoid conflict, you teach her that your words carry no weight. Respect requires boundaries. If you do not enforce them, she will not believe in your strength, and soon she will begin to test you harder, not because she wants to leave you, but because she wants to know, do you have a backbone, or are you made of sand? The silent mistake is believing that endless tolerance earns her love. In reality, it earns her contempt. 3. Losing your mission and purpose. A man who abandons his mission to make a woman the center of his universe sets himself on the path to losing her respect. At first, she may feel flattered. She may even enjoy the attention, but soon she will see that you have traded your ambition, your goals, your fire for her. And deep down, she will feel the burden of carrying a man who has no direction. Women are not inspired by men who orbit around them. They are inspired by men who chase something greater, who pursue their mission with discipline and drive. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." If your greatest ambition is only to please her, she will feel the hollowness of your existence, and her respect will wither. 4. Emotional weakness and lack of control. Yes, a man should feel. Yes, he should express emotions. But the silent mistake is when a man allows his emotions to control him, when every setback leads to anger, every disagreement leads to tears, or every challenge leads to despair. A woman cannot respect a man who falls apart under pressure. She needs to see composure, steadiness, the ability to stand strong even when chaos surrounds you. Remember, Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions, it's about mastering them. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The man who reacts wildly to everything creates storms that do not exist." And slowly, his woman loses trust in his ability to be a safe harbor. 5. Overgiving and overchasing. Another silent killer is the belief that if you just give her more gifts, more time, more effort, she will respect you more. But overgiving comes from a place of fear, not abundance. Respect grows when she sees that you value yourself enough to give from strength, not desperation. when every act of kindness is rooted in fear of losing her. It no longer feels like love, it feels like manipulation. A man must give, but he must give without abandoning his own dignity. 6. Inconsistency between words and actions. This mistake is the most silent, yet the most devastating. You tell her you'll change, but you don't. You promise discipline, but you relapse. You say you'll lead, but you wait for her decisions. Nothing erodes respect faster than inconsistency, because when your words and your actions are not aligned, she sees you as unreliable. For a woman, reliability is strength. When you do what you say you'll do every time, you build trust. When you fail repeatedly, you build doubt. And doubt is the graveyard where respect is buried. The truth is this: women don't lose respect because of one grand mistake. They lose respect because of the small, repeated patterns that show weakness over time. A missed boundary here, a broken promise there, a lack of direction, an emotional outburst, a moment of desperation. Individually, they seem harmless, but together they slowly tell her, "This is not the man I once admired." Drop a comment below. Which of these mistakes do you think men make most often without realizing it? Chapter 3. Ancient Stoic Wisdom on Leadership and Presence. When we speak of leadership, many men think of armies, thrones, or titles. But in the eyes of the Stoics, true leadership begins with self-mastery. Because if a man cannot govern himself, how can he hope to guide anyone else, let alone inspire a woman's respect? The Stoics lived in times of war, chaos, and political corruption. Yet their writings remain alive today because they reveal a universal truth. The greatest power a man can hold is over his own mind and actions. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of Rome, carried the weight of an empire on his shoulders. Yet in his private journal meditations he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That is the essence of presence: to be calm when others panic, to be steady when others waver, to be grounded in principle, not swayed by the emotions of the moment. And here is the secret: women are drawn to this presence more than anything else. Because deep down, a woman does not just want a lover, she wants a man who can anchor her when life becomes unstable. Leadership in the Stoic sense. Leadership is not domination. It is not controlling others. Leadership is being the man who embodies discipline, purpose, and direction. Epictetus, born a slave and later freed, taught this lesson better than most. He had no wealth, no titles, yet he wrote words that outlived emperors. No man is free who is not master of himself. This is the heart of respect. A woman cannot truly admire a man who is a slave to his anger, his lust, his laziness, or his fears. She admires the man who restrains himself, who walks with discipline, who says, "I will not betray my values even when it is difficult." When you live this way, you don't need to demand her respect. You command it silently. By the power of presence. Presence is more than just being in the same room with her. It is the energy you carry, the way you stand, the way you listen, the way you remain unshaken when things don't go your way. Seneca once wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." When life challenges you, your presence is revealed. Do you crumble under pressure, or do you shine brighter? A woman notices this. She feels it when you enter a room. She senses whether you are distracted and weak, or centered and strong. Presence is what makes her lower her voice when you speak. Presence is what makes her respect your silence more than another man's shouting. How Stoicism shapes modern relationships. Today, society often tells men to soften completely, to abandon strength, to live for comfort and approval. But history shows us something different. Civilizations were built and preserved by men who lived with stoic presence and principled leadership. In your relationship, you are not required to be a tyrant or a dictator, but you are required to be a man who leads, not with fear, but with example. When you wake up early to pursue your goals, she notices. When you remain calm during conflict, she admires you. When you say no to temptation and distraction, she respects you. And here lies the great paradox. A woman does not truly respect a man who bends over backward to please her. She respects the man who pleases himself first by being true to his discipline, his mission, his values. The Stoics remind us of something timeless. The world may change, but the nature of respect does not. In the past, women respected warriors who protected villages. Today, women respect men who protect their minds, their purpose, and their principles. In both eras, the essence is the same: strength, steadiness, leadership, and presence. So ask yourself, do I lead my life in a way that commands respect, even without words? Because in the end, respect cannot be demanded. It must be earned through the way you live every single day. Drop a comment below. Which Stoic principle do you believe every modern man must master first? Self-control, discipline, or presence? Chapter 4. How to rebuild and maintain her respect. Losing a woman's respect is painful. You feel it in her tone, in her silence, in the way she no longer looks at you the same. But here's the truth. While respect is difficult to regain once it's lost, it is not impossible. The key lies in rebuilding yourself first, because her respect is a reflection of your character, not her moods. Let's break this down into the principles every man must follow to rebuild and maintain respect. 1. Stop chasing her. Start building yourself. The first mistake men make after losing respect is to chase harder. They beg, they plead, they try to shower her with gifts and promises, but this only pushes her further away. Why? Because it shows her the same weakness that killed her respect in the first place. The only path forward is to stop chasing and start building yourself again. Refocus on your discipline. Return to your mission. Get back in the gym, improve your craft, rebuild your finances, and sharpen your mind. When you rise, she notices. A woman respects the man who does not collapse when she pulls away, but instead grows stronger. 2. Reinforce. Boundaries. With action, not words. If she has crossed lines in the past and you allowed it, then your words mean little. To rebuild respect, you must now enforce boundaries, not with anger, not with threats, but with calm, firm action. When you say you won't tolerate something, stand by it. When you say you have a standard, live by it. Words without action erode respect. Action without words rebuilds it. Epictetus taught, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Stop talking about the man you want to become. Show her the man you already are. 3. Master your emotions and lead with calm. If you've lost her respect, chances are there were moments where you allowed emotions, anger, jealousy, fear to control you. Now, you must flip the script. Rebuilding respect requires emotional mastery. This doesn't mean being cold or heartless. It means being calm, steady, and unshaken. When conflict comes, breathe before you respond. When she tests you, remain composed. She must see in you the strength of a man who is not tossed around by moods, but grounded in reason and discipline. That steadiness is what will slowly draw back her admiration. 4. Restore integrity through consistency. Nothing rebuilds respect faster than consistency. Not dramatic speeches, not promises, consistency. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you set a new habit, stick to it. If you decide to rebuild your life, commit to it day after day. Seneca once said, well-being is attained by little and little, and nevertheless, it is no little thing itself. Respect is rebuilt in the same way, small daily acts of discipline that over time prove you are a man of your word. 5. Reclaim your presence and leadership. Finally, you must reclaim presence. Be the man who looks her in the eyes without flinching, the man who speaks with clarity and acts with purpose, the man who does not let fear guide him, but principles. Leadership in a relationship is not about control, it is about direction. Women admire men who know where they are going, so decide where you're going, lead your life boldly, and she will either follow with respect or she will remove herself. And both outcomes are a victory because you remain true to yourself. mourn the maintenance of respect. Once you rebuild her respect, never take it for granted. Respect is not a one-time achievement, it is a daily practice. You maintain it by staying consistent, by living with integrity, by never abandoning your mission, and by never betraying your values for temporary comfort. The Stoics remind us that every day is a test of character, and in the same way, every day in a relationship is an opportunity to prove, through action, not words, that you are a man worthy of respect, because in the end, respect is the soil in which love grows. Without it, love withers. But with it, love can endure storms, seasons, and even time itself. Drop a comment below. Do you believe it's possible to rebuild respect once it's been lost, or is it gone forever?